Good afternoon, everybody. I'm here today with Gina Dietrich, who is the founder of Arment Dietrich, as well as the founder of SpinSucks Pro, which is a professional development site for PR and marketing pros, and she's also the co-author of Marketing in the Round. Gina is also the author of the PR and marketing blog SpinSucks, which is an award-winning blog. To name a few of the awards, it's a 2012 Cision Top 100 blog, the 2010 and 2011 Reader's Choice Blog of the Year, a top 42 content marketing blog from June to 42, a top 10 social media blog from Social Media Examiner, and an Ad Age Power 150 blog. Basically, it's an awesome blog that you need to follow, and Jeannie obviously knows what she's talking about. You can also find her as the co-host of Inside PR, a weekly podcast about communication, social media, and where they all meet and intersect. And today we are here to learn from Jeannie on the best types of content you may not have thought of yet. Jeannie, how are you doing today?
I'm exhausted after hearing that. Jeez, make it sound like I don't sleep or something.
Well, I mean, geez, Louise, when I was putting this together, I was like, it just goes on, and I was like, well, I can't leave that one out. Well, I can't leave that one out. I mean, geez.
I should shorten that bio.
No, you just need to keep adding to it, and if you keep doing what you're doing, you will. Yeah, no, I know. I thought the same thing, but I just couldn't leave any of them out. They're all so impressive. But obviously, it brings credentials to what you have to say, and hopefully everyone really pays attention because you're on the cutting edge of everything, and today we're going to help people learn more about different types of content, because as we all know, content marketing, just like any other field, it gets crowded, and you just need to stay on top of the game, and that's what it's going to come down to. The ones who are successful are the ones who are, doing the right and better things. So that's what we're here to talk about. I'm excited. I'm excited to learn. I'm very, very excited to learn from you today.
Yeah, says the content marketing expert.
I'm getting there. At least in my own mind. But it's from learning from people like you. So
nice.
It's a fun field. It's so much fun. And
it's super fun.
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
remember my dad said to me when I graduated from college with an English degree and went into PR, he was like, I don't understand why you're going into PR. I feel like you should be a writer. And fast forward a few years, I won't say how many, but a few, now I have the opportunity to write every day as part of my job, which is pretty amazing.
Yeah, and I love your style, too. I love your style.
Oh, thanks.
It's very just fun and light, but boom, it hits home on some things. So, which is probably why you got these all these awards. You keep it fun and technical. So it's cool. Very cool.
Yeah, we like to write things, snarky things in parentheses. We'll write the thing, and then I like to put in parentheses my snarky comment.
But hey, it adds your flavor and adds your personality. Yep. So it's fun. So where do you want to start today? What's on your mind as far as some things, some different types of doing content that people might not have thought of? Obviously, we're all very familiar with the written blog, which as simple as recent as what 7-8 years ago wasn't even thought of. So it's not not like it's archaic, but it's still something I think most people are familiar with, and you hear about doing videos and stuff like that. But talk to us. Tell us what else is out there that someone might not have really considered yet.
Well, my big thing right now is virtual reality content, which we've talked about, and I think it's not accessible to everyone yet, but I will tell you that I started seeing Shel Israel and Robert Scoble talking about it last year, and I remember at the time thinking, oh my gosh, one more thing, and how are we going to do this? And what? And now, video has to be 360. Last year it just sort of blew my mind, and I couldn't wrap my arms around it. And there's still, those two gentlemen are still talking about it. And what changed my mind was Cision sent me a Google Cardboard reader, which looks like the old, what were they called? The things that you would use that you'd
you would click it and it would go to something else.
The viewfinder things. What were they called?
What were those? They were red, right?
Yeah.
They were red.
And then you'd stick it in and you could click through the different pictures.
Yeah, those. I think everybody knows what we're talking about. Yeah.
So that's what it looks like, but it has a little slot in the back that you put your phone in. So then you download the Google Cardboard app, and you can actually walk through certain things. So on the Google Cardboard app, they have.
So you put your phone inside of it.
You put your phone inside of it, and you've got the app, and then you open the app, and then you put the viewfinder up to your face.
Okay.
So they have, like, under the sea, so you can, like, you'll be walking as if you're walking on the bottom of the ocean, and then you look up and you can see a shark, and you look down and you see seaweed, and you look to the left and you see Dory and Nemo, and you look right and you see penguins. Not penguins, but you know what I mean. So you have this opportunity to sort of just get this 360 feel of what's around you. I mean, going through a museum or walking through the zoo or going to a movie. So it's, you know, it has that 360 view. I will say, however, that the technology is not quite ready because it makes you very car sick.
Yeah, now this is similar to, it feels like, now is that the only way to view this kind of content? Like, is that from the, you know, say you're a marketing company or you know, if you have a marketing department, you know, within a company, and you're putting this out and you're trying to get engagement and trying to get it to people who are going to view this stuff, right? Do they have to have something like that to view, or is it viewable on like a desktop, or do you have to go through like that to really experience what, you know, the marketer is trying to let you experience?
Right now, you do have to have the viewfinder or the, you know, the goggles or whatever you want to call them. I know that there is some 360 video that you can see on YouTube just on your desktop, but it's not the same experience.
Yeah.
So, you know, I mean, it definitely is not accessible to everyone yet. And I think there's two ways you could go about it. You can buy a 360 camera, which isn't inexpensive. It's not, you know, but you're going to buy it once. And then you can create content. So let's say that you're at a trade show and you want to give people an experience that they wouldn't necessarily get if they weren't there. Like, let's say you go to CES, you're at the Consumer Electronics Show, and you're walking through, like, I don't go to that show, but man, I'd love to see some of that, and to have that experience of walking through and seeing all the grandeur and glory and all of that happens at that show. Or we have a client that makes oxidizers, which is not a sexy business. But for the people that are in the business, they're really intrigued by how an oxidizer is put together, because they're about the size of 3 football lengths, and they come on 7 or 8 semis, and then they put it all together. And it's large enough that a person can walk through it. So, you know, for that audience, being able to walk through the oxidizer and show, like, this is how this works, and this is where this connects, and this, you know, this is how this sucks this out. And, you know, so it's not super sexy, but it gives people the opportunity to see something they wouldn't necessarily ever get to see. And you can do that from a really unsexy B2B perspective, or definitely from a very sexy consumer perspective.
No, I hear you. Now I'm just trying to wrap my brain around, you know, because I come from a sales background. And then as of, you know, 8 to 10 years, I, you know, really applied my marketing side. And so I always think of things in both ways. Like, how does this tie together? You know, this is really nice, but will it drive engagement, which at the end of the day always comes down to driving revenue, you know. You know, at the very end, of course, there's all these touch points, but at the very end, it's that, right? So I was just, as you're talking, and as I've done some research on this, and I, you know, I really was, you know, from an application level, I was like, well, how? I can't wait to see what she says. And you touched on a couple things that I think, you know, right now can be done. It doesn't seem like it would be for the everyday company, but if you are at a trade show, and that just sounds like a phenomenal time to use this, you know. If and there's, you know, hundreds and hundreds, there's tens of thousands of people who go to trade shows. So this seems like if you got something, you know, you're already investing all this money to go to a trade show, right? So to do this, that I think it's for listeners out there who are going to trade shows, this is something to very much consider, because you could have your own one view, like a professional viewfinder. You don't need the cardboard box, right? So you could do that, and then you could really give somebody an experience of like how that looks. You know, like, hey, you know, for whatever, here's our technology. Here's, you know, get inside of the technology, or, you know. And I read your blog about like the or I don't know if I read about you, but the how cranberries and or juices
Yep.
made and all
Yep.
this stuff.
Yep.
Was that you?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
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 So like you know, even like that, if you're a company who is you know that does that, or wine shows or whatever, let's show how, and you know, and just that just gives people an extra feeling, and that, you know, those feelings go a long way. And something else I'd like to get your opinion on, and another thing that just popped in my brain, another application for this right now is for bigger ticket sales, you know, a sales team could send that thing that you got. And
Yep.
again, Jeannie, what's the name of the blog? You did a very good breakdown of how that worked, so people can reference that again. Do you have an easy way for?
It's Google Cardboard. So if you just Google Cardboard, you can see, you can buy the viewfinder. I think it's like $20.
Okay.
So if you think about it from this perspective, building on what you were saying, if you buy that for your sales team buys that for your top 50 customers or your top 20 prospects or whatever you decide to do, and it's $20 each, and then you just send them this. You can brand it. You can, you know, you can put a sticker on it. You can put your logo on it. You can do whatever you want to it because it's cardboard. So you can do whatever you want to it, and then send it as a gift, like Susan did with me. Send it as a gift, and then you just say, download the Google Cardboard app on your phone, iPhone or Android, and stick your phone in there and check it out. That's something like right now, because I was having a hard time when I was researching this, like thinking, well, you know, I mean, you're going to hit like 0.1% of the audience who can actually see what all this work, you put all this money into the video, and we'll get into that here in a second. But then it just dies, just kind of like, because nobody has the back end part to use it. But if you're proactive about it, i.e. at a trade show or your top 25, it depends. I mean, again, this is going to be for people who are selling something that it makes it worthwhile. But again, there's tens of thousands of companies out there who it would make sense for that, for their top 50 customers, rather than send them a gift basket, send them this. And you can even put it together for them, you know, and send it in a little bit larger box or something. But yeah, okay. Now I'm really starting to kind of see some real life examples of how there's some uses of it. Can you think of anything else for people right now until this becomes more mainstream? Although those are some pretty big points, though. Yeah, that's probably the biggest thing that I can see right now. Okay. Remember when before everybody had cameras on their phones, and there was that flip camera that was about the size of an iPhone. Mm-hmm. They no longer exist, but you could buy that flip camera for like $69, and I remember clients were branding them, you know, and engraving their logos on them and sending them to customers and saying, hey, we'd love to give this to you. Would you set it on your desk, take a video of yourself giving us a testimonial, and you can keep the camera? So there was, I mean, I sort of see it in that same way of it's not going to be something that drives sales today, but it's going to be something that's memorable enough that people are going to say, wow, that was really cool, a really cool experience, and when I'm ready to buy from them, they did something different than anybody else. Yeah. Better than hiring, you know, again, there's tons and tons of amazing marketing companies out there, but there's also tons and tons of hacks out there who say they're SEO experts and pay me $1,000 so I, again, have you rank for these terms. You know, that's such a dead thing these days. So don't pay those guys, and instead take that $1,000 or, you know, $2,000 and do this, you know. I think that'll move the needle 100 times more, because people cannot forget about the rifle approach when it comes to sales and marketing. You know, the shotgun approach obviously needs to be out there, but don't forget the other side of it, because this is a phenomenal way. And God, talk about separating yourself, right? I mean, if you did this to somebody and your competitor is sending them, you know, emails versus this, you know, I mean, you're going to just kill it. So, yeah, I'm so glad we're talking about this now. And how do you get started with this? If you're bought in, you're listening to this, and you're like, okay, yeah, I want to do this. Okay, let's walk through. How does somebody get started? So you either have to buy a 360 camera, or you hire a developer, outsource to a developer who can build something for you. Now, a developer or like a videographer? a developer, because they'd have to actually build the back end for you. And create the opportunity for you to build this for yourself. So I would say if you're just starting out, take the plunge and buy the 360 camera. It's not going to be something that's going to be around forever for you to use. You'll probably use it for a year or two before technology replaces it. But that's where I would start. And then I really would think about, just buying Google Cardboard for, your priority list and check it out, test it out.
Okay. So that's basically it. If you're going to be going VR, you just need to, obviously look into the Google Cardboard thing. I think there's something called Oculus Rift out there, but what's the cost of something like that?
Ridiculous.
Ridiculous. Okay, so don't do that. Let's start with the Google Cardboard thing. Get them in bulk, put them together, brand them with some whatever you can do. Send some like a little postcard or written instructions. Download this app, right, and then hold it up and enjoy. It could be like a 1, 2, 3 step kind of process. And that's basically it. Do you have any suggestions on? We say hire developer. Again, that's another scary thing, when it comes to finding good or bad people. Do you have any advice for people on finding somebody who, would, good places to find this, or is it just like, hey, that's kind of up to you to find good developers out there? Do you have any advice on that?
I wish I did, because developers are so hard. They're either really creative and terrible at the project management side, or they're just flaky all over, or because there's such a low barrier to entry in the industry, it's really hard to find somebody that's good. So I wish I had some magic potion. I was just actually talking to a client about that very thing this morning, and there's not, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's tough. And I was kind of almost asking for myself, too. That's another thing. You just never know. There's certain things out there that PR is another one, It just comes down to, and then you find good ones and you get like an amazing bang for your buck, and you find bad ones and you just get hosed. But it's just, that's just life, right? So, unfortunately, there's no easy answer. But once you get your hands around a good developer, treat them right, be nice to them, pay them right, and you'll get your money's worth. All right, well, cool. Do you have anything else you want to kind of dig into on the VR? It's virtual reality content, but it also goes by VR content.
VR, yep.
Yeah. Is there anything else, any tips, pointers, anything else you want to touch on there?
No, I don't think so. But, I would really, I would test it out. It's pretty cool. And even if you just want to buy yourself a Google Cardboard and just download the Google Cardboard app on your phone and test it out. I mean, it's $20, right? I mean, it's nothing. Like, you may as well just buy it and test it out and see, because I didn't truly, I started to understand it, but I didn't truly get it until I got the viewfinder and stuck my phone in it. And then I was like, oh. So I highly recommend just going that route, and then you can really figure out, okay, now I can see how we would use this from a content perspective.
That is a great piece of advice, and just to add to that, just from, again, my sales side of things, you don't have to have, a video of 360 view of the ocean, You can just do, if you have a good developer, you can just do your sales pretation, Look left.
That's a great idea,
We do this, look up, we also offer this, look right, we do this. Look down, this is how you contact us, something like that. You don't have to do you don't have to have some magical product. You could just have your own sales presentation on there, So but to really be able to figure that out, you probably need to, take Jeannie's advice and get it and see it, and then oh, okay, I get it now. Here we go, right?
It's
okay,
pretty cool. It's pretty cool.
I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. And like I was talking to my partner, I was like, I'm really excited to talk to Jeannie just in general, but I'm also really excited to learn about this, and I've already learned a lot, and my brain's already clicking on how to take advantage of this.
Good.
Yeah, very cool. All right, let's keep going on, different types of content that, people may not have thought of yet. And again, some of these things that you might have thought about, but, there's probably bits and pieces of doing it a different way that you might not have thought about. So what else do you suggest people think about?
I would say that one of the big pushes that we have had for probably the last year and a half is finding ways to repurpose your content, but not repurpose your content in terms of you know, taking your blog post and taking a series of blog posts and making an ebook. That for sure should happen. But what I'm talking about is using media outlets and blogs to extend and amplify what you're doing. So let's say that you have a blog post on, you know, for me it would be like PR metrics. So how do you measure your PR efforts? And that's a big sticking point for me, because to your point earlier, there's so many PR professionals who don't measure their efforts, and sort of my industry is the same. Like there's a very low barrier to entry. Anybody can say they're a PR person. There's no certification or anything. So you run into probably 9 really horrible PR pros to every one good one. And so one of my big focuses is on how you measure that, so that as you're looking for a PR professional or a PR firm, you can ask the right questions about measurement. So let's say I've written a series of blog posts on SpinSucks about PR metrics, and now I want to go out into the world and make sure that the business owners, business leaders are seeing that. So I'll go to Forbes, and I'll go to Inc., and I'll go to Mashable, and I'll go to All Business, and I'll go to Open Forum, and I'll write content for them and then link back to my PR metrics post on SpinSucks. So not only is it getting me that media relations traditional PR boost, it's giving me the link back to my blog, which helps with search engine optimization. And suddenly when somebody types in, how do I measure PR into Google, even if it's not SpinSucks, it's something that I've written. So then I've become the expert. So that's what we've really been focused on for the last, I would say, 1.5 years or almost 2 years, is how to repurpose it in other ways like that, so that you can get the bigger bang for the buck, amplify your content, and become the expert. You know, you could totally own the first page of Google results, even if it's in different publications. It's still you as the author.
So basically,
that's
take
a big
that
push.
loaf of bread and slice it up and do little bites here and there, so that people can. From our end, we've noticed the same thing. There's bits and pieces of a video that are interesting, right? And so just carve out those, and then if people want to hear the rest of it, just at the end of that video, say, take a 15-minute video and make a 2-minute piece out of it. And and I think that's something that I think everyone really needs to kind of almost re-listen to, or really pay attention about, because you can, you start, part of the challenge of content marketing is coming up with new ideas, right?
Yes.
So, your new ideas have already happened,
Yes.
Just go back.
Yes.
And repurpose that stuff by not the same thing. Don't just start spinning it out all over again. Just change it up. Carve it out. Take bits and sound bites and pieces, and get it out there. And we've noticed, specifically when we did a video for what's the printing cost, and it was a longer video, but then part of that video was cost saving tips. Tell me that's not interesting, just that part,
it's
right?
Huge. Yes,
So we just took that little bit out of it, and that alone is driving about a third of the amount of traffic. The other one still brings in more because it's been out there for 4 years, right? But the other one, that is bringing about a third, but 33% more traffic, right? That's amazing, right?
That's amazing.
And to your point, just do more of that. Just go get it out there. And I'm so glad you brought that up, because that's I've seen it on a personal level, and we need to do it more, for all of our clients. But that's awesome. That is awesome. And then to that point is also audio, video type of stuff too, right?
Yep. Yeah. So one of the things we've been testing, so you mentioned that I co-host Inside PR, which is a podcast, and one of the things that we've been testing is we've been recording it on Zoom, which creates high definition video and audio, and it separates the tracks for you, so you can have video and audio separate.
Whoa.
So we've been testing. It's super easy. Doing the podcast as normal, but then uploading the video. And right now it's just the 3 of us recording the show, but because so many people are visual learners, they love it. They're eating it up. And all we're doing is taking that audio track of the 3 of us recording the podcast and sticking it embedding it on the blog, and people are eating it up. So that's such an easy way.
Yeah.
What's that?
you just tripled your efforts, you know? Well,
Yeah,
the same
easily.
effort,
Yes.
and you get
Yes.
3 times, you can work less now, right?
Yes. Yes. Exactly. I wish.
Yeah, but that's awesome. What's that called again?
Zoom. It's ZOOM.us. Zoom. I think it's $159 a year or something like that. It's well worth the money.
Yeah, that's another thing. See, always learning here. All right, that's awesome. I'm making notes, not for more questions. I'm making notes to go apply stuff
To
later.
do stuff. I'm giving you homework.
You are giving me homework. Yeah, you're giving me more work, but at the end of the day, it'll create less at the end of the day. Okay, cool. All right. Man, I'm intrigued. What else you got? Anything else out there that you can think of? What about digging into a little bit of interactive content? I know that's not the newest term of the world, but I will tell you that not everybody's doing it, you know?
Yeah, and we're not really even doing it, at least not very well. We're testing some things. We do what I call the SpinSucks Inquisition every Friday, and it's just an interview where we ask the same questions, and until 3 weeks ago, we were doing it just written. So I would send the questions to a person and they would answer them, and it was just a blog post, right? So we've started testing it on Blab. And I asked the same questions, but then we've also incorporated a game in the middle. And people are eating that up too. So
what's the game?
So
Describe the game.
It's the 5-second rule that Ellen DeGeneres does. So I do the Q&A, and then when somebody from my team pops on and asks the question, so I don't know what the questions are, and it's, you have to answer, you have to name 3 things in 5 seconds. So like,
oh goodness,
yeah,
that's hard.
The question I got stuck on last week was name 3 love songs in 5 seconds, and I was like,
oh man,
Journey,
yeah.
Air Supply. I couldn't come up with a song.
I know.
But we're testing that on Blab to do some of that interactive engagement kind of stuff. So
how's it working
people seem
for you?
to like it. Yeah, people seem to like it.
Okay.
I don't like it.
Yeah, I know we all got to get better at this stuff. The tools are there. Yeah. Then it just comes to being creative. And one thing I'd like to kind of just throw out for the listeners and possibly for you to move on, you mentioned earlier like how to measure your PR efforts, right? To come up with a really cool interactive calculator. You know, of course, it wouldn't be a traditional-looking calculator. I mean, it would be traditional, you know, possibly interface of a calculator, but you wouldn't have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You would have, enter, what you've done here, enter this.
I've never thought of that.
Yeah, enter this, enter that, and then boom, at the end of the day, now calculate, right? Yeah, I think that would go a long way for you.
That's
to
a
get the word out.
great idea. Yes, yeah. That's a great idea.
There you go. Return the favor for you. So, but now, so take that idea, you can apply that all over the board. One idea, just again to kind of get people's brains spinning on this, is we did an interactive piece of content for, we handle the marketing for a printing company, and a big question kept being asked over and over and over and over again is how do I, what's the spine width? What's the spine width? What's the spine? So we created here's click your paper, click the page count, click the the paper weight, the paper type, and then boom, it just spits out the spine width, right?
Love it. Love it.
So that's just like, so you can think PR efforts, and then we're also going to be doing an interact. Again, I'm just throwing ideas, so because there's so many different industries, are like, well, that doesn't apply to me, and that's almost never the correct answer. Like for people who are hiring people, let us show you how much money you can make if you make this sale and that sale and that sale. So then you get people intrigued that way. So there's all kinds of stuff you can do with it. Again, you're going to have to find a good developer. I wish Jeannie would have given me hers for all her secrets. But you got to keep those on. You got to have some secrets you keep back, right? So
you cannot have anybody from my team.
But you got to find a good developer because this stuff's not easy. Now, I'm not going to lie. But if you do get a good one, it will be worth its weight in gold.
Totally agree with that.
So, yeah, cool. Any other interactive things you've seen out there? Games. You enter. I mentioned the calculator. There's contests you can do. I'm almost asking for myself here. Anything you've seen out there that's really been cool for you?
I'm a cyclist, and I live in Chicago, which is the worst possible place you could live when you're a cyclist, because you can't
Except
ride
for San
outside.
Francisco.
But at least in San Francisco, you can ride outside, and you're getting a really good hill workout.
Yeah.
Right? But, like, I can't ride outside between usually October and April. It's horrible. It's horrible. So I discovered this app, this Peloton app, in, I don't know, last summer sometime. And so I started using it for winter training this winter. And I'm really fascinated with how they are sort of engaging and interacting with people around the globe who have downloaded this app to their phone or to their tablet and are taking cycling classes from New York City. So the way they've got it set up is they have a studio in New York and they have actual spin classes. And then they just live stream them, and you can either join them live or you can do on demand.
Cool.
They're bringing on, like, for me, this is totally nerdy, but they're bringing in pro cyclists once a month to teach classes. So, like, George Hincapie is this Saturday.
Genius.
I'm like,
Genius.
I know, it's freaking amazing.
Yes.
And the other thing they're doing is because February always tends to be, like, you know, January comes and everybody does their New Year's resolutions. And even if you work out consistently like I do because I race and all that, but February always tends to be that horrible month where you're just like, oh my gosh, I can't keep going. I can't be outside yet, and I've been inside forever. So they created this contest with their thousands of app users to see who can rack up the most miles in February. So
oh my God.
Guess what I'll be doing for every single moment of every day.
That's genius on so many levels. One,
right?
you have the people who are authorities, right? And then you just tap into the psychology of a competitive person. And if you're going to be doing biking, and then you're obviously competitive, and then golly, see stuff like that. From just my marketing side, when I see good ideas, I don't know, I just get excited. I'm just like, oh, that's amazing, so smart, right? So that is awesome. That is awesome. Well, anything else to close on? I mean, we've covered a lot, and just to kind of recap, you know, we have the VR content. We've showed some ideas of how people can use it now. You know, just kind of a wait and see for, you know, mainstream stuff, but you shouldn't have to wait if you're a proactive, you know, sales and marketing team. You know, we've given some interactive content ideas, and then we've also talked about taking your current content and breaking it up. If it's a written blog, you can break it up. If you have a podcast or a video, take little sound bites and, you know, and also, like, you know, 30-second ones, especially for Facebook, the way they've really kind of zeroed in on, like, that 30-second video. You know, go there with it, and obviously, you know, using some tools like that Zoom.us can do all this for you right now, so you don't have to go back later and do it. So, yeah, I think we've given the listeners out there some really good stuff, real tangible stuff they can take home. And Jeannie, I really, really appreciate on a personal level from learning from you, and I'm sure everybody else will appreciate, you know, this as well. And again, I know I mentioned, you know, some of the, you know, awards and what you're in charge of, but can you tell everybody the best ways to follow you, to continue to learn from you moving forward?
I can, but I have a question for you first.
Yes.
Are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Making a murderer, guilty or not?
Not guilty.
Totally guilty.
Totally not guilty. I know we were tweeting at each other the other day about this. I thought so highly of you, and I still do, but I do have a question mark now because I don't quite understand
totally
why.
Did it.
How do you say that? I mean, there's so many things. Didn't you see that news thing from BuzzFeed about a week or so ago?
No, I didn't see. I don't pay attention to BuzzFeed,
but
I did see the People magazine thing. All right, I'll go look at
let me let you know this. No, it was from Reddit. It might have been on BuzzFeed, but a Redditor found it. I can't remember if it was Reddit or BuzzFeed who we heard about. What, it doesn't matter. But I think a Redditor found it, and they had the picture of her, one of the recent pictures, and they zoomed in on her keys that she had in her hand. Do you or do you not think it was that one single key they found, or was it a whole keychain worth of keys? I'll just answer for you. It was a bunch of keys.
I'm sure it was, yeah.
Yes. And now it's just
another
I
have no
indictment.
doubt that they planted evidence but I do think they did it.
I think the brother and the boyfriend did something really bad, personally.
Yeah, the boyfriend, yeah, he's a bit, yeah.
And the brother. I hate to say it. I hope he's not listening. But
I hope for brothers listening to a content marketing podcast.
You never know. You never know. We're gonna blast this out there. It's gonna get out there. You never know. And I'm definitely, from an SEO perspective, other people, all kinds of people want to listen to this. So I'll track some traffic from Making a Murder. It's in there now. So we're definitely going to hyperlink that. All right. Well, we will have that discussion the next time I see you. And
we need to, yes.
Yes, and hopefully by that time they will be exonerated. And okay, how about this? We'll bet our drinks whenever we start dinner or whatever.
Done.
Okay.
Deal.
Whenever that new lady comes in, who I've heard is the best lawyer in America, takes over. Hopefully she'll be able to get them off. We'll see.
All right.
But to loop back around that last question, tell everybody how they can continue to learn from you, but not about only on the PR and marketing stuff, not about her wrong opinions of Making a Murder.
Okay, or your wrong opinions. That's fine. That's fine. Spinsucks.com is the best place. It's easy to find and everything's there.
Okay, just spinsucks.com. You can follow her from there. You can follow her on Twitter. You can sign up for her weekly podcast and everything just right there. Yep,
everything's there.
All right, and buy your book, right?
Buy my book. Yes.
There you go. All right, Jeannie. Well, till next time, I will be looking forward to it, and thank you so much for your time.
It's my pleasure. This was fun.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.